the Honorable Congressman TJ Cox of the 21st District of California. Hello and welcome to Sojanel. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here.
First of all, kudos to your wife, who's a pediatrician. And from stories that I heard, I've been doing my research, you guys as a family have opted to stay in communities where she can serve underprivileged families. Thank you so much for that.
You know, one of the primary reasons why I'm here is because unfortunately, my wife, Kathy, she sees the consequences and the injustice of our health system that show up in her intensive care ward every day. And finally, she had just enough of it and said, say, somebody has to do something. People in office right now aren't doing what they have to do. And so you're going to go out and do it. And just like all of my aunties, they tell their brothers and husbands what to do.
Yeah, and you're the smart husband.
That's right.
Anyway, Mr. Cox, you represent a California district that includes the city of Delano, which we hear about a lot, especially when talking about Filipino-American history. It must be a source of pride for you to be representing this city as one of the few Filipino American elected officials.
Delano is such a wonderful city, and my name, Cox, doesn't immediately ring as Filipino. My mom's maiden name, De Castro, does. And so people are very surprised when they find out that I'm Pinoy. When I was first going down to Delano for Philippine weekend. But now, obviously, it is such a source of pride. And it's just a reflection of, the hard work and the dedication and the grit that Filipino Americans have, certainly here in California, the Central Valley, and throughout our nation. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to make it to Philippine weekend. Unfortunately, this year was canceled, but very much looking forward to making it back next year. And if you're ever in town, make sure you stop off at the Phil Bakery.
And we're very proud of you. You know, Filipinos have a long history here in the U.S., but when it comes to being involved in politics, in government, it seems we still have a long way to go. Not everyone is so gung-ho to participate.
A lot of it is cultural. We'd like to stick to the work, but we did have leaders like Phil Cruz and Larry Leong that stood up and said, hey, we have the right to have our voices be heard. Now, there was Bobby Scott in the Congress. We've doubled our Filipino representation with me in 2018, and we got very close with our sister, Gina Ortiz-Jones, the largest, frankly, Asian American group growing in America. Our voice is going to continue to be heard. And we saw that just this year. And we had one of the first ever Filipino celebrations there in Congress with the national FAFA groups. And so I continue very much looking forward to seeing many more Filipino Americans in Congress from California and across the nation.
In your journey to Congress, though, you seem very dedicated to it.
The thing that drives me more than anything else is the sense of social justice. And I get that from my mom, who got that from her mom, my grandmother. And one of our most memorable family stories is about how my grandmother, back in Manila, right after World War II, she took it upon herself to open the first and only social club for African-American troops there in Manila. She saw that they had no place to go to relax when they got off duty, have a meal, just to hang out. She saw that they were being discriminated against. Instead of just talking about it, she went out there and did something about it. That sense transferred, was to my mom, who became one of the state of Nevada's first equal opportunity officers. So growing up, I always saw her standing up for the little guy, for the disadvantaged, for the people that weren't getting a fair shot. And that's something that stuck with me my entire life.
And we're going to have to address this because the intention to serve is there, and you have a stellar record as a public servant. Unfortunately, there's a cloud hanging over your head with some of the controversies as well. I'm sure no one is exempt from that, especially for a public figure like yourself. Mistakes in the past, or maybe something that's being exaggerated by opponents. I'd like for you to address that with all due respect, this issue about ethics complaint.
What's really unfortunate about the political process is a lot of times it's just a race to the bottom. The other side is going to bring up the most spurious lies and mistruths about you and just try to make you just unpalatable as possible. But what people know here in the 21st District is that they know me by my results. They know me with what I've been doing. They know me by the 20 years that my wife, Kathy, has served the children of the Valley, of my 4 kids. We try to live by our Catholic Christian ideals about, love thy enemy, all right? Pray for them. And so people in the Valley, they're not going to judge me by the noise that's out there. They're going to judge me by the results that I've been delivering for them.
It's also very hotly contested. You're running against the person who used to hold that position, and when you won from him the last time, it was narrowly less than 900 votes.
Yeah, it was 862 votes. Not that I was counting, but that was the second closest margin in the nation. We were the very last race called in the nation. And this year, it's the top race in the nation. Republicans are doing everything they can to take this seat back, including spending millions of dollars on TV and negative ads and so much and so forth. But we can't let them have it back. The people of the 21st, those people in Delano and throughout the Valley, are finally getting the representation that they deserve. And I intend to keep the seat, be able to keep providing and making a positive difference in their lives.
With that said, if reelected, what will be your focus?
My overarching goal is to get America back, to where it's this place of opportunity for all of us, where it's the place that every Filipino says, hey, I want to maybe immigrate to America someday. I want to live that American dream. And so we have to really start by bringing trust back into the government. Then you bring trust back by actually delivering what you say you're going to do. So when I say I'm working on immigration, we've actually delivered on immigration. When I say I'm working on providing clean water to every community in the Valley, we've been delivering on that. With regard to COVID, we absolutely have to, follow the science. We have to test and trace and isolate and treat and get rid of the coronavirus once and for all, so we can reopen our economy, reopen our schools, and get back to normal. Think about the opportunities if we change the direction of the White House, the Senate, and we keep the House, and I'm there having a hand in shaping with what we can do over the next 2 years at least. It's going to be a very exciting time in America.
Obviously, the US presidential election, Trump versus Biden, it's also very hotly contested. And among Filipinos, there is still a divide. And at the same time, there are still a lot of those who are undecided, don't know which way to vote. What would your advice to them be?
The number one thing is to make sure that everyone votes. Everybody has to vote. That is the right that protects all of our other rights. And you can check your voter status. If you go to vote.california.gov, you can make sure that you're registered to vote, where your ballot is coming, and actually when you cast your vote, whether or not that ballot has been accepted.
What is the legacy that you're building?
The legacy I'm building is to show that here in America, anything is possible at all. My parents came as students. They met at the International Club at Montana State University. They had 3 boys born in California. I was born in Walnut Creek area. My dad ended up becoming a professor of chemical engineering. As I said, my mom became an equal opportunity officer, and their son ended up becoming a United States congressman, proudly representing Californians, Filipino Americans, and people throughout the district in California. So anything is possible here in America.